mean, I like kind of rag on Michael Jordan here a little bit, and I think we were a similar ilk with the Jazz. Is I like where guys just tighten their belt up and say, you know what, let's go to work. We just got to get better.
Yep.
We got to play harder. We got to play smarter instead of just, where's the grass greener? I'm going to go there and win a championship.
Yep.
I think it devalues that. You're not climbing the mountain. You're taking a helicopter to the top.
Totally agree.
John Stockton sat calmly, completely composed, and delivered one of the coldest reality checks the league has ever heard. Staring straight into the camera, he said, "You're not climbing the mountain. You're taking a helicopter to the top." It wasn't a random line, it was a dagger, and everyone knew exactly who he was referring to. Stockton said it like a man who spent 19 grueling seasons in the trenches, fighting through every battle without ever begging for super team help or media sympathy. This wasn't an influencer chasing clicks. This was Stockton, the quiet assassin with 15,806 assists, a career built on grit, loyalty, and discipline. He never complained about teammates, never ran when the situation got tough, and never needed headlines to validate his greatness. So when he called out the so-called greatest for taking shortcuts, it landed harder than any old-school rant. Stockton wasn't being bitter, he was exposing the truth about what the game used to stand for. In his world, loyalty wasn't a weakness, it was a weapon. Staying with one franchise wasn't wasting your prime, it was proof of pride, commitment, and belief in your grind. It meant you bled for your colors, no matter how many times you got knocked down. That mentality barely exists today, and that's exactly why Stockton's words hit the basketball world like a shockwave.
In a free fall. I think the Bronny thing started the free fall. I think people around the league are looking like, yeah, you're LeBron, but you're not 27-year-old LeBron. You're not even 34-year-old LeBron. Like, you're an old man now who's dictating and destroying the Lakers because you want your son.
So yeah, hit that subscribe button, because this might be the crack that shakes LeBron's entire legacy. And trust me, the next chapters are about to get wild. That helicopter line from Stockton wasn't just old head talk. He was making a statement about a complete culture shift. When he said climb the mountain, he meant the real grind, the kind he and Karl Malone lived through. Years of heartbreak, battles with Michael Jordan, and showing up every season hungry for revenge. No shortcuts, no switching sides, just pride, work, and competition every night. Now contrast that with LeBron's career. The second things got tough in Cleveland, he packed his bags and flew to Miami to team up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. When that ran its course, he went back to Cleveland with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. When that group cracked, he jetted to LA with Anthony Davis waiting for him. Every time the climb steepened, another helicopter appeared to lift him toward the top. That's the heart of Stockton's message. He wasn't just criticizing team hopping, he was highlighting the difference between building something and buying something. The Utah Jazz didn't recruit a super team overnight. They built their identity through drafting, development, chemistry, and culture. It took sweat, patience, and loyalty. Meanwhile, LeBron's teams often looked like they were assembled in a video game. Big names, blockbuster trades, instant hype. Sure, he won rings, but Stockton's point was never just about trophies. It's about how you win. And more people are starting to adopt that mindset. Because when the cameras turn off, that's where the real test begins, the retirement test. Jordan's legacy didn't just survive retirement, it became myth. His legend grows stronger every year. Even his failures add depth to his greatness. His career has aged like fine wine. LeBron's, meanwhile, is showing cracks while he's still active. When was his last moment that made fans jump out of their seats? When was the last time he created something immortal? Sports shows are already whispering that retirement might not be kind to him, and deep down, LeBron probably knows it. His entire GOAT case is built on longevity, volume, and consistency. But when he retires, those numbers freeze. That's when people really compare. 21 seasons sounds historic until you realize it meant years of stat padding instead of dominance. Being the all-time scoring leader sounds legendary until you remember it took him more games than anyone in history. And the biggest stain remains the super team era. When time passes, people will ask the question few acknowledge today. How many of those rings were earned the hard way?
That's why Stockton's helicopter line ages like premium wine. It hits harder every year. And it's not just about LeBron anymore. It exposes a bigger authenticity problem in basketball. Stockton represents the raw, pure version of the game, the version disappearing fast. Fair or not, LeBron is becoming the face of everything fans can't stand about the modern, media-controlled athlete culture. Stockton spent 19 straight years in Utah, not exactly the Hollywood of basketball. He could have demanded a trade, chased big markets, or teamed up with stars, but he stayed and built something. That's authenticity. LeBron's career, by contrast, feels curated, like every step was approved in a Clutch Sports boardroom. The decision wasn't basketball, it was branding. His Cleveland return felt more like rebranding than redemption. Even his social posts feel polished by a marketing team. He's playing chess in the media game, and fans see it. Hall of Famers who once stayed quiet are starting to speak up. They can smell what's real and what's manufactured. They came from an era carved by sweat and loyalty, not camera crews and hashtags. They're calling it how they see it. LeBron turned basketball into a corporate empire, while players like Stockton kept it personal. But the wild twist, this authenticity gap isn't just turning old players away, it's turning fans away too. Remember when that radio host said teams don't even get emotional when LeBron leaves? It sounds harsh, but it's true. LeBron has never truly belonged anywhere. When he leaves a team, the reaction is always the same. Appreciate the run, good luck. No heartbreak, no mourning, just business. When Jordan left Chicago, the entire city felt gutted. When Kobe retired, LA cried like they were losing family. When LeBron moves on, it's just a headline. And that says everything. That leads straight to the most brutal part of Stockton's criticism, the Bronny factor. If you really want to understand why LeBron's legacy is slipping, look at what's happening with his son. This isn't a metaphor anymore, it's Stockton's helicopter comparison playing out in real time. LeBron pushed the Lakers to draft Bronny, not because he was a top prospect, but because LeBron wanted a father-son moment. Instead of letting Bronny grind, LeBron lifted him straight into the spotlight. That's not mentorship, that's leverage, and it exposes a deeper issue. LeBron will choose personal legacy over the team's future. The Lakers didn't draft Bronny because of hidden potential. They drafted him because they were terrified of losing LeBron. That isn't leadership, that's pressure, and fans notice. Bronny's path looks like a VIP shortcut. Meanwhile, Stockton's kids had to climb on their own. No favoritism, no fast-tracking. That's the difference between climbing the mountain and being airlifted to the peak. But Bronny is just one piece of a much larger machine, Clutch Sports. Most fans don't realize how far this network reaches. LeBron isn't just a player, he's the architect of a media and power empire that influences signings, trades, narratives, and even coaching decisions. When the radio host joked that Stockton would never work for Clutch Sports, it wasn't a joke, it was a warning. LeBron's machine gives him enormous influence, but at the cost of authenticity. Every business-first move chipped away at his basketball purity. The decision was branding. The Lakers' move was a lifestyle play. Fans can feel the difference. LeBron's choices no longer feel like basketball passion, but corporate strategy. Stockton never needed cameras or narratives. He cared only about one question: does this help us win? That purity is what people miss today. And the longer this era goes on, the more fans crave it. So was Stockton right? Will LeBron's legacy shrink after retirement while Jordan's and Kobe's grow? All signs point to yes. Today's culture wants authenticity, not polish. They